listening to the sweet sounds of the After Movie Diner. Support us at patreon.com/After Movie Diner. Or I'll punch you in the teats. Rate and review us on iTunes, Earthling. And now, here's your host, Jon Cross.
What are you saying about eggs?
One egg sandwich.
A one egg sandwich? Is that what you're looking for?
Sometimes that's what I feel like my life is, just a one egg sandwich.
A one egg sandwich.
Jim Wallace, his life is a one egg sandwich.
One eggs.
Hash, over easy, a one egg sandwich. The Jim Wallace story.
What did we have here last time?
I can't remember. I think it was quite good. I seem to remember getting... Well, what's the name of the diner? Joe Jr.'s Diner.
Joe Jr.'s Diner. So you have to pick something named after Joe Jr.
I know, right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, no, I'm just wondering whether that's what I got last time.
All right, maybe.
I got like that. Tasty sandwich. Tuna fish. Individual can. Oh, individual can, eh?
Of tuna.
Of tuna fish.
Where does it say that?
Salvador sardines. Individual can. So they give you like bread and then a can.
Yeah.
And then you put the two things together.
Yeah, why not?
I mean...
That's the kind of classy joint I bring you to.
One egg sandwich.
One egg sandwich, please.
I don't know what to have.
A one egg sandwich at this point.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's looking like. Did I get like an omelette or something?
That'd be really weird to get like chicken fingers and a baked
there's
potato.
a Joe Jr. omelette.
Should I get a chicken fingers and a baked potato? I think you had the Joe Jr. omelette before.
Is that what I had before?
Yeah. Oh, that's what he had. Oh, that's what he has before. Hello and welcome to a very musical episode of the After Movie Diner, where in the absence of literally anything to say, Jim and I are just going to sing things about...
We have things to say. We have really interesting things to say.
I don't know about that.
Are we only going to do podcasts about...
Don't oversell it, mate.
What? Are we only going to do podcasts about low-budget films about monsters underwater, natural monsters that aren't really monsters?
I wouldn't mind that. I mean, if our entire podcast...
That are released at the cinema.
That are released at the cinema.
Cinematic release movies.
Yeah. You're tapping
low budget.
You're tapping the table.
I know, well, I have to.
You don't have to. I'm telling you, please don't. Tap your bag or your hat.
What you don't hear, you don't hear because you never listen back to things. You press stop, and then you put it on the internet, publish it.
Do you know how long it takes me to edit?
And then you never hear it again.
You're just full of lies. Full of lies.
I'm a one egg sandwich full of lies.
Jim Wallace.
Right, well, I'm going to ask them what is in the Joe Jr. omelette.
Full of lies.
Full of lies.
So they have a baked potato as a side. Do they have like a baked potato as a main?
I don't know. I like any hot vegetable. Corn.
What does it say that?
Just one. You get one. I'd like one hot vegetable and an individual can of tuna.
Tempting desserts.
How would you like that arranged? Surprise me.
Jim will be touring later this year with his one-man show, Diner Menu Music. Where he literally gets on stage and for 45 minutes improvs the shit out of a diner menu.
Well, not really 45 minutes. So after 3 minutes, all you can hear is booze.
I don't know what I had here before.
I don't know why I had it before, because none of it looks particularly appetizing.
This is the least interesting diner beginning we've ever done. Hello, and welcome to...
hello. Yeah, we did do the thing where we say hello.
Hello, and welcome to the After Movie Diner.
Welcome to the After Movie Diner.
Yet another episode.
Yet another episode.
Jim hates it when I say that.
And then you talk about about what movie it's going to be.
Yeah, no, but
No,
first,
we don't.
But first,
Yeah, sorry, yes.
I have a couple of things.
Okay.
I have a couple of things.
Really?
Yes, I have a couple of things.
Okay.
So inspired. So on before the movie. Well, anyway, let's pick, and then I want to do my rants.
All right. Oh, there's a rant.
Well, it's not a rant. I just want to talk about something, and I want to get. You know, like that time where you said, "Am I a terrible person because I pretended to be asleep on a subway?"
Oh,
train?
yeah.
I have one of those that I
Oh,
want
okay, all right.
to talk to you about.
Oh, good, okay.
About
I'll feel less alone now.
yeah, does it make me a
Oh,
terrible person?
Will it? Maybe I won't have to wake up screaming every night.
Yeah, maybe in
I mean,
this
silently. It's a silent
yeah,
scream.
it's a silent scream.
But my mouth is wide.
Silent scream.
And it is terror.
But people can't hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a silent scream.
Yeah, in their bones.
And they're all
They can
deep,
hear in their bones.
deep in their bones.
Deep in the bones.
Like a big flashing dildo-style alarm for sharks
In bones.
in bones, which will come up later in the episode when we actually talk about the movie we went to see, 47
Meters down.
meters
Uncaged.
down, Uncaged.
But what if there was no... It's like 47 meters down, but what if there was no cage?
Right. What is weird about that title is if it was just 47 meters down.
Well,
Right.
that's because there was a movie called 47 meters down. This is the sequel. Did you know that?
This is a sequel.
I dragged you to a sequel to an unsuccessful, low-budget B movie about sharks. This is the sequel to that movie. There's
You
a
did-
movie called 47 meters down about, I think, like, two people in a cage 47 meters under the ocean, and there's like sharks around. They have to survive.
I didn't realise this was a sequel.
And this is the sequel.
Oh, that disappoints me.
Right.
Because I hate doing sequels.
Well, okay, this is more like, this is not a sequel, right? What this is we've got a shark movie. We've got a script for a shark movie here. That shark movie called 47 meters down, that did quite well. So let's just call this 47
You just said it
meters
didn't
down.
do very well at all.
Well, it did. It was made for like a packet of beans and a napkin. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it made.
Wouldn't have the napkin got very wet
made- it
underwater if it was made with
Right,
the napkin?
but that's exactly the point.
Wouldn't
That's
the
exactly
napkin
my
have
point.
fallen apart?
That is exactly my point.
The can of beans
They
would have
made back
survived.
2 packets of beans
Right.
and
Packets
a
of beans.
cellophane
Beans come in a
wrapped
can.
package of napkins. So they were like, brilliant.
Brilliant.
We'll have to do that again.
Yeah, keep the napkins in the cellophane.
That is a strong title.
Yeah. I don't know how strong the title is.
But it didn't go. But it was made for like 2 million and they made 20, so that's why they released it again. I'm very glad we went and saw 47 meters down on Cage because
Well, I was glad until I found out it was a sequel.
I like that we went. It's not. It's a sequel like Halloween 3 is a sequel. It's not really. It's just another film set at Halloween with a spooky story. It's another film about sharks set in Mexico, starring nobody from Mexico. Which
that
was deeply odd.
That was deeply weird.
Yeah, everybody in the film was not from Mexico, despite the fact that it was in Mexico. There wasn't even like a token,
Mexican chap.
Yeah, not even one. Hey, how are you? Good, thank you.
Sorry.
You ready? You want to know what you want, But the more like slightly silly.
I'm really bothering you that I'm taking this long, aren't I?
No, it's fine. I don't care. The more slightly silly, low-budget B-movie horror films we get to see in the cinema, I'm all for it.
And it was pretty packed.
It was. Well, it's because it's like, if you've seen Hobbs and Shaw and The Lion King, there's not much else, is there?
Yeah, what else is there?
Who knows?
There really wasn't anything else.
No, it
was
wasn't.
there? And I've seen Hobbs and Shaw, and I saw The Kitchen.
Right.
But we're wedged between, Hobbs and Shaw did so well that, like, it's out its second week. And then we don't get the next good movies we get next week. So this was really our only option this week.
Yeah.
It was 47 meters
Which
down.
I'm glad we took.
Okay.
I'm glad we took.
Okay.
Because, after all...
Does that mean that if, like, the next one should be 47 meters down, Nick Caged, and it's Nick Cage versus some sharks?
Somewhere, a producer in Bulgaria's ears just perked up.
Yeah. I'm checking because I want to see. I've got a feeling that a predominant amount of the cast were the daughters of famous people.
Really?
I think so. So Sistine Stallone,
Who was the one that...
is obviously the daughter of
See, I thought the lead was the daughter of Stallone for the whole movie.
No. So she was Nicole. She was the very tall one, the tallest
the
one.
one
of
that
all
tried
of
to
them.
escape at the end by climbing the rope.
Yes. I don't know where Nia Long is. So Corinne Fox, and betting is like Jamie Foxx's. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Her father is Jamie Foxx.
So two of the people in the movie are the daughters of famous people.
It's worth mentioning.
That's half the main cast. Literally 50%.
All right.
It's not quite the world-shaking...
No, but what's interesting is, back in the...
That's a bold way to begin this.
It is bold.
Come on, tell me, what is interesting?
I'm a bold, edgy man.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s and 90s, C-tier, straight-to-video action...
Already we're drifting away from interesting. But okay.
It was often expected that a brother or cousin or sibling of a famous person would show up, like Don Swayze or Joe Estevez, or someone who was like, or Rene Estevez was another one, like
Tangentially
connected to famous people. And now
Eric Roberts.
No, Eric Roberts was famous before Julia Roberts was.
He shouldn't be, but yeah, he was.
What are you talking about?
I hate Eric Roberts. He's deeply creepy. Yes. Could I get the Greek burger? Well done.
Patty melt, please. Deluxe. Medium well is good.
Together or separate cheese?
Together is fine.
Yeah, can I get a cup of English breakfast tea with milk?
With milk?
Yeah.
Can I get a regular Coca-Cola, please? And is it possible to get like a side of brown gravy? Thank you.
Thank you.
But it's nice that we're in 2019 and a new wave of...
It did feel kind of throwbacky,
B-movies.
The whole movie, right?
New wave of B-movies, and this is one that stars the children of famous people, probably because the brothers of famous people are over the hill.
In my opinion, if that's what you need to get your crappy shark movie into the cinema, then have at it.
Oh, no, have at it. And I have to say that they weren't as annoying or tittish as I was expecting. Anyway.
No, that's true.
I have a couple of things I want to get off my chest.
You should get them off your chest.
Before we die.
Right now. Deep
47 meters down. Uncaged.
Oh, I'm so excited by the way you put that.
Thank you.
It's such a professional introduction.
Thank you.
It makes me feel like my life is not sliding slowly but surely down the drain into oblivion.
It is.
No, it makes me feel like it's not.
Right.
Feel like it's not.
If I can put, the chocks of
you
a
can
plate.
lie to me for just 5-10 seconds.
If I can slide...
You will have my eternal gratitude.
Yeah. If I can slide the chocks of my story under the wheels of your plane to stop it careering down the slope, then I will do so.
Okay.
Chocks are the triangle.
No, I get it. Okay. I like it.
I was trying to think, how do you stop a sliding thing or a wheeled thing from
Well, I said I was sliding down the drain, so why did you get an aeroplane? Is it because it rhymes?
I don't know.
Plane.
Okay.
The drain.
Then consider me the hair catcher of your dreams.
I think I've had that dream. It was deeply disturbing.
So anyway,
I'm the hair catcher.
I'm the hair catcher of your dreams.
I'm the hair catcher.
The irony being is I have way more hair to catch than you do.
I do, but then you've got all my hair.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
In my dreams, you stole my hair.
Yeah.
That's a good lyric. In my dreams, you stole my hair.
Shooby-doo.
Hair catcher of my dreams.
Hair catcher.
47 meters down.
Nick Cage. if they don't make 47 meters down Nick Cage.
They should.
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah. Or what about 47 meters up Nick Cage?
So you have to stretch Nick Cage to be 48 meters long.
Yeah.
And then go into him, but not right to the top.
Yeah.
You're like, we there? Well, we're nearly there. We're 47 meters up.
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage.
Okay, that's amazing.
The audience is small but loyal. No, that's for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's a very dedicated audience.
The After Movie Diner with Jon Cross will return right after this.
Yes, if you want to hear an ad read out in the middle of the After Movie Diner for your project, your website, your podcast, your album, whatever it is that you do, if you want to hear an ad read out in my bad English tones in the middle of this show, then please go over to patreon.com/aftermoviediner, and for the $3 or more per podcast show package, I will read out or play a promo for your site, your store, your podcast, your web series, or anything that you want on the show at least twice a month for 3 whole months. My goodness, what a deal. It's basically free advertising, except that you have to pay me. You also get an After Movie Diner mug worth $17, a thank you and a mention once on the show. So why don't you go ahead and do that? Our announcer, Spike, will tell us how.
You're listening to the sweet sounds of the After Movie Diner. Support us at patreon.com/After Movie Diner. Or I'll punch you in the teats. Rate and review us on iTunes, Earthling.
So go on, crack on.
Thank you very much.
What was it you wanted off your chest?
So, does this make me a bad person? So, as we were walking, we actually did something of a photo shoot for Monsignor Wallace as we were heading to the diner,
I'm doing a poetry reading in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And they need to make a flyer, so they needed a picture of me, preferably one where I wasn't playing an illegal underground fireworks dealer.
Yeah.
Because that's all the pictures they had.
They had from Slingshot Cops.
So I thought,
which is
I'll
on
go
Amazon
to Secondhand Scene.
Is Slingshot Cops on Amazon Prime?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just pimp all of this all at once.
Crack.
Jim Wallace, author of poetry book, Are You Hurtling Towards God Knows What?
Available now on Amazon in the UK for £3.50.
Okay. Available on Amazon. We were taking photos for that.
Right.
Me being a photographer under
Secondhand
the name
Scene.
of Secondhand Scene.
Secondhand Scene.
Interrupt this
No, I'm just trying to, I'm just bigging you up, mate.
Previously, Jim Wallace had been in the movie Slingshot Cops.
I was.
Now available on Amazon.
Now available on Amazon Prime.
From Shock Marathons and Motorn Media. And Shock Marathons, who is also Charlie Roxburgh, who is director of said Slingshot Cops. His wife runs library in Connecticut where Jim is doing poetry reading.
Yes.
So, Slingshot Cops, Are You Hurtling Towards God Knows What? Secondhand Scene, After Movie Diner. Check them all out. Bob's Your Uncle, Amazon Prime.
And my poetry reading into Connecticut on September the 28th?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right then, yes. Feel free to come to Connecticut. Ooh, we're going to Connecticut. Ooh, across.
If you come to Connecticut,
state line.
if you are a listener of the diner and you come to Connecticut to my poetry reading, I promise
We'll give you-
I will say
We'll
hello.
We'll give you a free biscuit.
That's a guarantee.
Free biscuit.
Guaranteed hello.
Guaranteed free
Guaranteed
biscuit.
hello.
Guaranteed free biscuit.
And a free biscuit. He'll give you a free biscuit and I'll give you a hello.
I can't guarantee that the biscuit won't be stale.
Yeah.
And or soggy.
Or that the hello won't be just a smidge sarcastic.
Yeah. Or disappointed.
Disappointed.
In some way.
Yeah.
Or dismissive.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. And then on you go.
Hello.
I have no time.
Hello.
So anyway, does this make me a bad person? A new
Right.
segment
Right.
on the After Movie Diner where we examine if I'm secretly a really bad person. So, as we were walking to theatre, a woman, let's say of upper middle age, is that fair, or lower older age?
Who are we talking about?
The woman who made you carry your thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she was 60s?
60s. So she had a wheelie.
She was elderly, I think.
She had a wheelie thingamabob that she had filled up with groceries from Trader Joe's, or so she claimed. It looked like, bags of mad bollocks.
It did look like bags of mad stuff, that's true.
It did not look like Trader
It did
Joe's
not
at
look
all.
like, oh, I've just been shopping. It looked like, I'm a mad person,
Yeah.
and these are my bags.
Yes.
These are my bags of mad.
So she stopped us, being two young wily lads such as we are, and asked,
Sorry, what are we?
I don't know,
I think you described us as young, which I feel like compared to ancient Egypt. Yes.
Right. Well, no, she looked at us and she was like, they're younger than me, they can carry my stuff for us. And asked to wheel the stuff. To which Jim got somehow lumbered with it. But all that was in
Lumbered
my
in the way that because you did this thing where you like slunk.
Yeah.
It was really something.
Yeah.
You properly slunk backwards.
I slung
out
backwards.
of the line of fire.
Well, no, because she started talking at me. What went
you
through
slunk.
hang on a second.
I'm very impressed by the slinking.
What went through my mind was,
Right.
I've got no time for this. And whatever she wants, I'm
That's
getting.
clearly a bag of mad. I'm out.
Clearly, mad bags of bollocks.
Because you do like you get like New York antenna.
New York
like,
antenna.
This
No.
is mad. I want nothing to do with that.
Great. It does make you a slightly heartless bastard. But that's
That's what
fine.
it does. Because it's everywhere.
So I look down the street and I see the nearest thing that I could potentially go to being Forbidden Planet, and I go, we're only going as far as Forbidden Planet. It's just half a block. To which
What I like, by the way, is we were only going to the Strand, which was literally 4 meters away. But so keen were you to tell this woman to sling her hook,
Yeah.
that you were like, I'm not even going to tell her we're going to the Strand in case that proves to be. I'm going to tell her we're going 2 meters that way.
But she did.
She didn't care.
She did the New York madness retort, which is, I don't care. One of these
2
gentlemen.
meters of you doing it is better than 2 meters of me doing
One
it.
of these gentlemen is going to touch my filthy trolley, right? So I'm not letting them get away clean-handed. Patty Matt over here, thank you.
Oh, that's
Any
great.
dressing for your salad, sir?
No, that's fine.
No dressing?
Yeah, so it's just, okay, so it's more of a salad. That's fine, let's put it on the burger. That's fine, thank you very much.
You want any dressing for your salad?
No, that's fine, is that fine? Yeah.
Do you mayo or mustard?
No, I'm good. I have ketchup. Thank you.
Well, it's not quite what I was expecting.
So wait, it's more of a salad? Like, I love that you can see what it is. You instead want him to stand there while you go through what it is in some detail, even though what it is not confusing in any way at all.
But it's a Greek burger.
Right, it's a Greek salad
It didn't
and a
say
burger.
a
Shut
burger
up.
with a
Shut
Greek
up.
salad.
Shut up.
Why?
Because you can make it a Greek burger.
I know, that's why I
very
read it, but
quickly,
it took me...
and then ignore the rest. You're not paying any more, any less for what it is.
I
Just eat
know,
it and
that's
have it.
why, that's exactly the conclusion that I came to, which is why I let him just go away.
But you didn't. You looked at it and you went, so wait. Anyway,
I was just expecting more of an arrangement.
so
It was a build your own burger for $14.
as Jim was dutifully trundling the filth trolley of madness a whole block, it struck me as she also wanted to then engage in mad conversation about guns that I had no part of wanting
You
to.
see, the beauty was, because I was pulling the bag of mad, I was like, well, I can pull this ahead because I've done my bit. If he gets left behind with a mad conversation,
Right.
that's his look out.
Right. And that's totally fair. I don't blame you at all. That's absolutely acceptable. But it started to make me think that, maybe I'm awful. And it reminded me of a recent thing that I was going to put up on social media, but I think it's much better to actually discuss it on the podcast. And that is, in the morning and in the evening, I walk my dog, right? I walk my dog. And she's a 13-year-old blind dog, right? She has got no time for anyone else when she's on a walk. Walking is difficult enough because she's literally in a world that she cannot see.
Right.
She can only barely hear and only slightly smell because she's just, at this point, just she's a little old lady that I'm carrying around with her so that she can do her business and then come home and I can give her breakfast, right? And I love her. My dog is amazing. She's absolutely amazing and I love her and she's incredible. But When I walk my dog, especially in the morning, and especially at weekends, I'm usually wearing whatever t-shirt I slept in, a ridiculous pair of like baggy hobo sweatshorts. You right?
Yeah, I'm just realising that the whole Greek salad and burger combination was definitely a mistake.
Okay, good. So maybe scrape it off and just have the burger?
Yeah, I'll just have the feta and the tomatoes and the onions. That's fine.
The fetid cheese.
Yeah. Back on, sorry, you're talking about walking your dog.
So I'm walking my dog, right?
In a podcast about a shark movie.
Hang on a second. It's not. It's the section of the podcast called Does This Make Me a Bad
Oh, I
Person?
see. I thought we'd already done that.
No,
I'm sorry. I didn't realize the link.
I was setting up what reminded me
Oh, I
of
see.
Am I a Bad Person
I
was our
see.
incident before the movie.
Right. Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I thought that was the thing.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm ruining your flow.
So anyway,
What kind of a podcast co-host am I when I ruin your flow with such
A bad
gleeful
one?
abandon?
one that I have no choice in. I don't mean that, listeners. I don't mean that, listeners.
Geographically, you are stuck in it.
I mean it a little bit. So when I'm walking my dog, who, like I have explained, can't see and needs attention and is basically running all over the sidewalk just trying to get to a place that smells somewhere like she might want to do her business. I'm normally not dressed. What is it, dude?
Oh, no, just there's bits in the burger that I'm occasionally cracking them on my teeth, and it's just a bit surprising. That's all, I'm listening to the story.
I just can't talk if you're like looking at your burger as if someone just either died on it, took a shit on it, or
What? It's just,
it could be rat meat.
it's just grittier than burgers usually are, that's all. Crack on.
So when I'm normally walking the dog and I'm wearing, a baggy ratty old t-shirt, baggy ratty old sweatshorts, my hair is all baggy.
You look like a neighbourhood eccentric.
No, and my dog's all over the place. I definitely have a face on me that says, like, don't even bother. Like, leave me alone.
Right.
But occasionally, because people are mad and assume that everyone is just wonderful, people come up and pet your dog, right? But what petting your dog, especially if said dog is like blind and 13 and doesn't want to be petted because all she's trying to do is smell for a part of the sidewalk she wants to poop on. That's all she's interested in.
Can we just skip past the dog shit?
It's dogs. It's what they do.
I know, but not while I'm eating. That's all I'm asking. I'm asking nicely if we can avoid the subject of your dog shitting while I'm eating. That is my one request.
You've now brought it up 3 times more than I have. So,
No, I brought it up twice, which is half as many times as you brought it up.
so
I've been keeping count.
this couple who were shiny, clean, well-dressed, tailored, young, attractive, rosy-cheeked, Caucasian, just the worst kind of human scum that exists outside of Wall Street traders, Rupert Murdoch, and people who talk loudly in movies.
Right.
They come up and she's all like, oh, may I pet your dog? Oh, how lovely, blah, 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 twiddly-dee, flubbly-doo, right? To which I go, yeah, but she's like, blind and 13, so like she doesn't know you're there, whatever. They're not even listening to, oh, Lindy, like, I want to pet your dog. To which Bacon is just like, wait, I have weird hands on me and I don't know why we've stopped and whatever.
Right.
And he's bumping into people because that's what she does.
Right.
Then they start to, like, while they're petting my dog, against my will, I might add, they start to engage me in conversation because it's not about petting the dog. It's about, they want to, like, learn more about the dog and, what kind of breed is she and where's she been and how did she lose her eye and everything else, right? So suddenly, because I'm walking a dog I am forced to engage in not only a conversation I don't want to be a part of, but an entirely pointless conversation that adds nothing to anybody's day. I already know all about my dog, and when they walk away, they will have forgotten everything I say. So while they think that they're being nice, good, honest, rosy-cheeked, neighborly, polite, friendly, happy-go-lucky people, who are really the best kind of people in the world, all that I have in my heart, as all I'm trying to do is walk my dog, is sheer, blackened, angry hatred. And when I walk home, all I'm thinking as I walk home is, I hate everything.
Right.
And I don't want that to ever happen again. Because there is literally nothing worse than being forced into conversation. Especially when you've gone out of your way to scream, leave me alone, with your entire being. So, my question is,
right,
does that mindset make me a bad person?
I suppose the short answer is yes. The longer answer is yes, but do you care? Because...
Okay, so why does it make me a bad person? Why is the answer yes?
I suppose because of the black hatred in your heart.
Well, listen, I live in New York City. I don't live in Tweedledum on the Wells, where everyone knows each other's daughters and, I don't know, goes to church and eats fucking shepherd's pie in some big field.
It's okay that I want to live there. That sounds nice.
I live in New York, where
where shepherd's pie is probably something gross. I don't want to think about what a shepherd's pie is in New York.
Well, it's made with beef, to be
Probably like sucking the shit out of an old man's arsehole or something for sexual kicks.
Okay, that went to a really dark place. No, shepherd's pie is the same thing as it is there, except they make it with beef here, which makes no sense because it's shepherds.
That is particularly weird.
Right. So anyway, if I lived in such a place, and the living in such a place, the social contract was old farmer McGinnicuddy would come walking down the lane and be like, "Hey up, John, how's your parsnips?" or whatever.
Right.
I would be like, "Oh, fine, farmer McGinnicuddy, my parsnips are doing right grand, thank you very much."
Right.
And then I would fuck off down
By
the...
parsnips, do you mean balls?
By parsnips, I mean...
Or do you mean nipples?
Nipples.
Right.
If I live in New York,
Right.
where the social contract is,
I agree.
leave me
You
the
belong
fuck
here
alone.
because New York is mostly people with black hatred in their hearts, dressed inappropriately for whatever it is they're doing,
Right.
walking a dog and hating everything. That is basically 80% of New York.
Right. And by the way, before
And the
anyone,
other 20% are doing the same, just without a dog.
before anyone thinks that I'm joking or exaggerating for effect,
Right.
it was one of the most awful things that have ever happened to me in the morning. Like, I would rather have walked along and seen a tramp expel some heroin vomit and then go about his day than I would accosted by two shiny-faced white pillars.
Have you thought about next time telling them the dog's like
Red
got
rabbit.
a disease or something? No, not rabid, but like it's like contagious. Has fleas maybe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch it. It's got fleas. And then when they look at you, you go, "You got them from me." Now fuck off.
So here's my second question.
Right.
What is it
Right.
in me
Yeah.
that not entertains is the wrong word, that upholds whatever social contract they're waving in my face through the gritted teeth of politeness?
Wait, I'm not following the question at all.
Meaning, why didn't I just say to it, "Could you leave my dog the fuck alone? I'm walking it."
It's like
Why did I? Well, you know.
because although you live
Why
in,
did I engage
because
in
although you live in New York, you were born in England. That's why.
Right.
there's some parts of you that you cannot avoid, and one of them is when someone starts a conversation with you, you're polite back. But I confidently predict, inside of 10 years, you will be telling those people to fuck off.
Right.
Honestly, especially if you don't move,
Right.
but keep wearing the same clothes that get rattier and rattier. And ideally, if Bacon could live another 10 years until it's like a really decrepit,
Right.
like horror show on a leash. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just repulsing everybody.
By the way, if you didn't like that, you can have this.
No, I can't. It's put me off food.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, it was just like gritty and nasty. What the fuck are you doing? It's like Greek burger. It's like burger with olives, feta cheese,
I think what's
tomato.
gritty is all the shit on it. It's not.
Yeah.
Like
No,
this
no,
burger
no.
is not gritty. This burger is delicious.
Either way, I feel like I was sold a false bill of sale. It did not
Well,
say.
that's what I'm saying. You can have some of this.
No, I don't know. I'm fine.
All right.
Let's talk about the movie.
So that's part one.
Right, well, part one. Bloody hell. What's part two?
That they, despite every single trailer we watched tonight,
Yeah.
was about people shooting other people. Like every trailer, every single trailer.
Was it?
Yeah. Name a trailer, it had people shooting each other in it. Every trailer.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Despite that, The Hunt was pulled from cinemas by Universal. Because Trump tweeted about it.
Yeah, I know. I can't even begin to describe how little I want to talk about Trump. And
No, I'm just-
controversies emanating from him.
Oh, no. Not just him. When I shared
No, I know you're going to
the
fight,
LA
didn't you?
Times. No, when I shared I thought it was a Trumper who had reported it, but it wasn't. It was Facebook. When I shared an LA Times article, and I tried to share it again without any commentary because I had sworn in the comment originally. So I tried to share it again without any commentary. The Facebook shut it down. They claimed that an LA Times article with no commentary from me was like sexually explicit and against their guidelines, and they shut me down on Facebook for 2 days because I shared an LA Times article.
It's crazy.
So I'm telling you, censorship is alive and well, and it's horseshit. And I just wanted to tell people that on a public forum. Anyway, 47 meters down, Uncaged. Why don't you tell people what it's about, Jim, while I eat the other half of my...
Right, I'll steal one of your chips, and we'll get on. 40 minutes in, we will get on to the business of the bleed movie.
People love all that stuff. They're going to hate the talk about the movie.
The movie follows 4 teenage girls in a weird school in Mexico where no one is Mexican. And two of the girls, one of them is white and one of them is black. And they have a white dad, who's the girl. Is the girls?
So this was my first problem with the movie. Nothing about the family unit was established
No.
before suddenly there was conflict in the family unit. You can't have conflict before what the dynamic is. I need to know who everyone is before you start telling me who everyone hates.
Yeah, and I know that
They were stepsisters, I think. I think they were stepsisters.
That was definitely stepsisters, but I don't know if, presumably, if that is okay. So presumably, if they're the same age,
The mother went off and had a life somewhere else. The father went off and had a life somewhere
they
else.
came
And they
together
just got
and
together.
they brought this. Right, okay, fine. So that's
That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
But it was never explained.
Right. Oh, chef. Right, tea, but I'm fine. Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you very much, chef. So the 4 teenage girls. So the 2 sisters don't get on. The dad orders them to go on a... well, not orders them, but the girl...
He wants a bonding exercise.
It was a bonding exercise between the stepsisters. So buys them tickets to go on a glass-bottom great white shark boat tour.
Right.
When they get there, her 2 mates, the I guess more popular sister, and her 2 mates turn up, that she had plans with anyway, and whisk her and her stepsister off to like a. Oh God, hang on. So
It's a private entrance.
it's a private entrance for a cave, and the cave is currently holding the sunken ruins of a Mayan city, which is, and the reason that they know about this is because that's what the stepsister's dad is doing. He's like exploring and setting up the cave.
He's an archaeologist.
He's an archaeologist, right. So they go for a swim in this kind of like secluded lakey cavey thing, and then they decide that for larks,
Because all the equipment is there because they've got more archaeologists joining them next week.
Right.
So there's lots of diving equipment there.
there's a lot of equipment. So they put the equipment and they go and have a dive in the cave. And while they're diving in the cave, exploring the sunken Mayan city, they come face to face with a shark that has grown up in this ecosystem without eyes, but
It's a blind shark.
it's a blind shark that can hear really well, apparently.
Right.
And they are kind of chased.
Which, by the way, the dad has already told them that there are potentially sharks down there because he found a shark tooth.
Right.
So they
That's
already
right.
know about the sharks. But they know before
My
they
one
even
even
go
has
there.
a shark in her pocket.
Yeah,
So
which she's managed to keep throughout the whole film.
So they go diving and they get chased around by the shark, and they have to survive in the sunken mine city without a shark.
The air is running out. The shark attacks them and closes off one end of the cave so they can't get out that way.
The two things I would say about the film are, one,
Well, they have to get out the other way and they find the dad
well, you have to go through the whole thing. Like that's basically it.
and more stuff happens. Yeah.
No, just like stuff happens. So the downside of it is, well, there's three downsides. Well, there's two downsides. One downside is, it occurred to me when I was watching it, this would be much better as a cartoon, frankly, because the one problem with filming in an underwater, cave is you can't really see anything terribly clearly. It's like very murky, and it's not, great to look at. It's not like a visual treat.
Right.
Right?
It's not meant to be.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, if it had been a cartoon, then you could have had a bit more of the, the splendour of the sunken mine ruins. You know what I mean? It could have been like something to look at, but as it is, it's just a bit like spooky. I mean, it's fine.
I strongly disagree, but okay, carry on.
Yeah, fair enough. And the other annoying thing about it is that
You keep slamming stuff down on the table
Sorry.
while we're recording.
the other annoying thing is that because none of them are really characters, they're just four teenage girls. When they're swimming around, and you can't see who they are because of the masks.
Oh yeah, you have no idea who any of
And
them.
all their voices basically sound the same.
Right,
And when
they're
they do
all
talk,
American.
they all say generic things like, guys, it's so insane down here. Guys, have you seen this? It's insane. Like,
Yeah.
they say just the blandest things to each
Yeah.
other that you could possibly imagine. And then when the shark attacks happen, they just scream for an hour. So that's the downside of the movie.
I disagree with one of those, but carry on, yeah.
The upside of the movie is, during the bits where the shark was attacking them, it was quite good. I quite enjoyed it. The shark attacks did make me jump on a number of occasions.
Yes.
And I did like the look of the shark. It was kind of like old and gribbly and had no eyes and was all cut up to shit.
Yeah.
And was like sniffing around them and like...
It was a blind, old, gribbly shark.
Right.
Right.
It was Bacon the shark, basically.
Right. Except Bacon isn't gribbly.
He's a bit gribbly.
She's
Yeah, it's a bit gribbly.
But she's not gribbly. She doesn't have like patches in her fur or anything.
All right. Anyway, the point was just being old and gribbly.
No, but this shark was all like cut.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, cut up.
Manky.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Bacon's not manky.
No. So,
Don't attack my dog.
so the long and short of it is that I did actually quite enjoy it,
So did I.
and mostly because the thought occurred to me about halfway through that if we watched this in the 70s, if this
Well,
was
we wouldn't have
filmed
been
for
alive,
the,
mate,
yeah, no,
so
if
that would have been
if this had
problematic.
been a film from the 70s,
Yeah.
I guess my point is that all the stuff that was annoying, that they were all kind of generic and they spoke in like generic teenage, slang. if it was like an older movie, like from the 70s, like that would matter. It would have like a kind of a charming, of the moment kind of a thing. You know, but they'd have all had 70s hair and they'd have talked in 70s slang, and that would have been like enough.
Right.
You know what I mean, to keep it going. And then the shark bits would have been pretty scary, and we'd have gone, well, that was a pretty good shark movie. You know, low budget shark movie in the 70s, quite fun. But because we're in it now, and and it's just kind of like annoying. The kids were like annoying and bland because they're just sort of just like everything else around. It could be in an advert or whatever.
Right.
I mean, they're not as.
There is a sequence at the beginning when they're riding along in a jeep that might as well be an
Absolutely,
advert.
yeah. It was properly like.
What would it be an advert for? It'd be an advert for like insurance or an advert for.
Well, it'd be cars, wouldn't it? It'd be like a car advert.
Coca-Cola. It would be a Coca-Cola advert.
Yes.
It looked like a shiny, happy Coca-Cola.
It did, yeah.
And what was the song they were playing that I haven't heard in
They
ages?
kept playing really bad, and like the other one
The
was
music was really bad.
The music was like. She's Got the Look by Roxette, right? It was like, why are we listening to Roxette in 2019?
Yeah, not only that, but when they stopped.
The week after Roxette happened,
Yeah.
they were over.
Right.
So what are we doing here in 2019? And Roxette are back.
Right, but what was funny is the guy was like down there. What was the guy down there doing? Just welding bits of metal.
I'm just going down to have a weld.
I'm just going down in the ocean to weld some metal.
I'm going to have a weld and listen to Roxette.
Roxette. And then when the shark
just me time.
yeah when this I didn't understand.
Right.
Roxette stopped playing because like the speaker got mangled.
Right.
But then the Carpenters started playing, even though the speakers were. I didn't understand that.
No, I didn't get that. No, that was very weird.
While when Roxette stopped playing, the guy flipped up his mask and went, "Hey, you're breaking my jam." And I'm like, first of all, I don't think anyone's ever said that in the history of humanity. And if they have, they were repeatedly punched in the neck for an hour.
And they certainly weren't talking about Roxette.
And they said, right. And secondly, if someone did say that, they were probably talking in 1976, having just listened to some Boney M or something, or Earth, Wind and Fire. They weren't listening to Roxette. So that was particularly.
But you told me there
was that sequence at the beginning, and I can't remember the song, but I started dancing to it. But it's a very.
Oh yeah, I don't know the song. I vaguely recognise it, but I don't know the song.
It's a very old, like late '80s, early '90s, top 40 one-hit wonder.
Yeah, it was very peculiar.
So
music
they're driving along to that, right? And then they go like walking into the jungle, and as they walk into the jungle, the camera pans back and back and up and up and up and up.
And then the song
fades away, right? So then they find.
That's right.
Right. So then they find the lake with the floating platform in the middle that is really the
and they go swimming again.
Secret doorway to the underworld. And they all decide to jump off the cliff face down into the lake. At which point, the third verse or second chorus or whatever it was of the exact same song comes blaring back up on the soundtrack
for swimming montage.
At the end of which the camera pulls up and up and up and up and up and up
and the song fades away. You're so weird. You liked that so much. You thought that was such a feat of filmmaking brilliance.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
With
the same song. Any other filmmaker would like cut to a different song.
Yeah.
But just to go back to the same.
I don't know.
Song.
Have a score or something.
Anything. It was deep.
So that was deeply weird.
As soon as they got attacked by the shark,
it's the idea that the lead singer of Roxette somewhere is sat there going, I like the idea that in the Mayan ruins, 47 meters down, uncaged, that they're listening to my song. Nowhere actually above the water is anyone listening to the song.
You can only listen to Roxette below the water. I think that's a law that was passed, wasn't it? Only underwater listening of Roxette allowed from now on.
So 48 meters down, unroxetted is coming out next year. But yeah, that was deeply strange. So,
but you know what I mean?
For me, the best thing about it was, in all honesty, the best thing about it was actually what you kind of goes against what you were saying. I thought
difference of opinion
when it first started,
right?
As did you, that like I can't see who anyone is. I don't know where anyone is. Especially like once they knock over one of the ruins and like all the silt flies up and everything like that. You can't tell who anyone is, right? But actually, what that does and did was two things. It actually covers up a myriad of mistakes and problems and whatever that you might have had with the film had everything been very clear.
Right.
But secondly, it feels very authentic, feels very naturalistic, and actually made the film like more horrifying and more claustrophobic.
To be fair, that is probably
because there was whole sequences. There were whole sequences where you were like, well, the shark's there, the shark's coming, you know.
Yeah.
And it didn't, and then it did, and it didn't. And what I liked was there weren't too many fake outs. When the shark showed up, they actually...
Like underwater cats going...
Right.
Cupboards.
Out of cupboards.
Out of underwater cupboards.
They didn't go into an underwater bathroom, shut the bathroom mirror, only to see...
A ghost
in the shower.
An underwater ghost in my underwater bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We didn't see any of that, which was nice. There were no underwater cats jumping on underwater windowsills. But there was also a couple of really nice things where, like, the shark was just seen, like, in the very, very far
that was
distance,
cool. Yeah.
sort of between the particles. And I actually have to say, all that was very, very, very
And to be fair,
effective.
the Mayan ruiny like statues in the background
was super well
was
done.
really spooky.
It was super well done.
Yeah.
And it was nice because essentially you felt the texture of like the rocks and the ruins.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Now, there were two bits towards the end. One is the whirlpool current suction thing, which was badly done.
Yeah.
and
vaguely inexplicable.
Completely inexplicable. The other thing that was completely inexplicable was that they followed John Corbett, took father, through the ruins, out a hole, and up into another lake, where he had his ascender, which he said like 3 times in a really weird way. It's the ascender. I'm like, it's a rope with a pulley on it. Can we not?
Yeah.
No, it's the ascender. Without the ascender, we're screwed.
It's the get-upper.
Yeah.
It's the get-upper.
Without it, we're absolutely bollocks. Which, had it been a line in the movie, that would have been amazing. But no, they come up through that thing, right, into another lake that's surrounded by very, very high rocks that you can only get out with a rope. And the sharks follow them and blah, 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 blah. That whole sequence, the moment they then dove back down again, they conveniently found the current instantaneously. I was like...
Yeah, they come up and then they go down again.
Back down again.
But the moment they go down,
they're in a totally different place. Yeah. Now, look, that could be explained if they'd swum a bit and gone into a different part of the cave, but that's not kind of...
There wasn't a great deal of internal narrative logic.
No.
In general.
No, but what was very clear, very, very clear, was at the beginning, these two people don't like each other. We don't really know why they don't like each other. One is popular at school, one isn't. One wears dungaree shorts, the other one wears a bikini.
She's supposed to be embarrassing. She's supposed to be like the nerdy sister that everybody picks on. And so she's embarrassed. But they didn't really... The problem was, because she was like arm in arm with her two friends, you didn't get the impression that she... Like, if the relationship had been... They've both just gotten to this school, and one of them, is being naturally bullied, and the other one is kind of like ashamed to be related to this person being natural, because that's only opening her up for bullying. Right. That might be a thing. And if they had something like some moment of where the more popular, the not bullied stepsister is like ashamed, or like cuts her loose.
No, I understand. But the biggest narrative problem. So. Two sisters, whatever reason, don't really get on with each other, don't want to spend time with each other. Dad wants them to spend time with each other. Dad's plans go awry because the one happy sister with her friends entices the other sister to go diving in shark-infested waters, right?
Right.
The big problem is... Oh, and then, by the end of the movie, they're the only two that survive, of course, and it is through, bonding and working together and helping each other out and being sisters that they get out of their predicament, right? So that's...
You're right, it's a narrative arc.
But that's the minimal narrative arc that is required. Everyone else you assume is shark-based, right?
Right.
there's one major problem with that.
What's that?
The one major problem with it is when they see the bully in the line for the glass bottom boat, and the sister doesn't want to say anything to them, the nervous sister. The other sister goes, "You should just stand up to them," and like flips them the bird. And then the other two women in the Jeep also flip the bird. And then the sister gets in the Jeep, and everyone's like in a Coca-Cola wrapper. So like. Then, when they get to we have to jump into this lake from the rocks, or we can take this path down, she was like, let's not take the path, let's jump into the thing. And when the sister goes, I really want to take the path, the other one was like, no, let's just jump. And then they both jump together. The problem with the narrative arc is, before they even jump in the lake, at the very beginning of the movie, they're already bonding more as sisters. They've already both flipped off the bully, and they're both in the car in a Coca-Cola wrapper, and then they're both diving into a beautiful lake and like splashing around in the water. And yes, okay, when they come back out onto the raft and they're talking, the floating platform, and they're talking about like the Mayan ruins. Stallone's daughter, Sistine, which I've realised she's probably named after the Sistine Chapel. It's Sistine Stallone. That's probably what she's named after. She's not spelt the same way, but
who knows how Stallone's mind works?
Anyway, Sistine Stallone, who is still like taking the piss out of her for being like a bookworm or whatever. But then the other one, who has the same name as Amazon's thing, what is it? Alexa. And the sister start to bond over like knowing stuff about Mayan ruins and things. So like everyone's already bonding. Like, so you don't really need to have them attacked by sharks just to get the family back together, because everyone's already happy if they just stayed on the platform. So that's my only thing. I realized where the narrative was going. I realized everyone else was shark bait. And that's why it was so surprising when in the whirlpool thing that the sister, initially you assume that the sister had got lost. Because I was like, wait, isn't the end of the movie that the two sisters are okay again? Like, I'd already jumped forward to the end of the movie.
I had the same thought, but the follow-up thought I had was, well, I mean, I haven't really been able to see anybody or movie, so maybe that was Alexa.
Right.
Even though, I thought Alexa was not the sister. I thought, I can't remember the name of the sister now, Sasha. I thought Sasha was the sister. So was Alexa the sister? And then after I was like, I think that was like the sister got lost in the world. And you're right, but I was like, we didn't see her die. And if you don't see somebody die, they're probably not dead.
Yeah.
But that's what I liked about at the end, right at the end, when they're like swimming towards the shark bait boat through actual shark bait, which was a neat ending to the movie, to be fair.
Oh, the ending, by the way, is absolutely bananas.
It's like probably like Jason Statham with a pen or whatever the ending of the Meg was.
Of the Meg. Well, no, that was the other thing. It's like we had seen the Meg. We had both really enjoyed the Meg and the lunacy of the Meg. And I was like, oh no, this is going to be like a, sisters bonding, floaty underwater, Mayan ruins, slow moving. It's not going. I like my shark movies big and ridiculous. I've got no time for slow, drawn out shark movies. I want them big and ridiculous. And what I liked about this was that the shark moments were big and ridiculous.
And to be fair, once they started, it was pretty constant after that. It wasn't like there weren't like, and now we're gonna like have a moment where we bond on like a mysterious like cave or whatever.
Well, no, what they did very well was that this was a Lost in the Cabin in the Woods movie, but instead of it being a cabin in the woods, it's a submerged Mayan city full of sharks. And in a Cabin in the Woods movie, it's we've got to get through the night, and in this movie, it's we've got to get through the ruins to the other end.
Yeah.
And
it's a Poseidon adventure thing. It's from one side of the cave to the other.
Right. And what was really like funny was when they came up with Corbett and everyone was in the lake and everything. I was like, is this over already?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And then like when the sharks came back and attacked a couple of them, I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm enjoying this. This was awesome.
And also what I liked too is when Stallone's daughter, like they were like, oh, we're all sisters together, and there was like at some point the slightly jerky friend is going to do something slightly, because we should be doing like slightly jerky things all the way through the movie.
Yeah.
And then she actively, what I liked, Alexa was going up the road, and and then Stallone's daughter climbed on top of her to get away from the shark, like just like treading on her face, pushing her down, going, "I'm sorry," but just like looking after herself.
Thank you.
No, I mean, like, we can get the check, thanks, mate. Looking after herself,
right?
And then I went hold two, and at no point did she think, "Well, I better let go." It was just blind selfish. But then when she gets it, when she
make any more noise, putting a couple of plates in a box.
When Stallone's daughter gets it, what I like is she wasn't just eating like everybody else because she'd done the horrible thing. She had the most entertaining death, but she properly not only like
she was grabbed by one shark,
but they like twisted and pulled. It was fantastic.
Tore her apart.
It's really fun.
My whole thing is, there wasn't much I didn't enjoy about the movie and the concept, because what it did, all I demand from a movie such as this is do what it says on the tin.
Right.
Don't bore me. Right, and don't come up with like a whole bunch of like wanky things.
Thank you.
And thank you. And don't even do they're super hyper intelligent sharks with laser
I don't
beams
know.
for cock.
As a consequence, the sharks got smarter. I do like Deep Blue Sea.
Right, but I'm just saying, I don't want to hear that. Just, it's already stupid that sharks would kill people, because they don't unless like massively provoked, or unless you go into their territory. Right, that's already stupid. It's even more stupid that a shark would, in this, like it does in this movie, eat like 4 separate humans, but still be so ravenously hungry that it would slam itself repeatedly into a cave to try and eat a 4th one. Like it's already eaten 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
at a certain point, you have to go, well, the shark's just going to be like a mad killing machine.
Right.
So it's fine. All that is fine. The one down point is literally the script in terms of like the dialogue and the setup. The setup wasn't strong enough to sell me on any of the girls, let alone the 2 I should really care about, which are the 2 sisters.
Right.
The setup was not strong enough for me to really care about.
No.
Or to be able to identify any of the people in this movie in a lineup and a push, because you wouldn't be able to.
Especially with strapping them in like the same outfits, the same
Right. You'd probably look at Stallone's daughter and be like, she's tall and a bit weird looking, Stallone's daughter. But like, that's about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's only because I follow him on Instagram and I'm well aware that all his daughters look like that.
Well, I guess the problem is that as well, is that for that first bit when they're like swimming through the cave, and I was like, this is the, that like, oh, this is the calm before the storm kind of a thing.
Right.
Everything first there's like giant periods of silence.
Right.
Because like there's no music, it's just it's about
and occasionally they go, oh my god, isn't this insane?
It's so insane. Come down here, guys, this is insane. Is this insane?
Yeah.
Please say something. And always saying like, they go, breathe, don't forget to breathe. And the other thing is the air was amazing, because it was like we start off with 100, 10 minutes later we've got 40. Half an hour later we've got 20, and then another 20 minutes later we've got half an hour later we've got 40, and then 2 minutes later we've got 1. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, none of it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You could just measure it out.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like that. But like the 40 people, like, wait, they've got to 40 in like 5 minutes.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. But I mean, none of that bothered me. The only thing that bothered me, and I think it also bothered you, was the dialogue.
Yeah, the dialogue. Because if you're going to have it, because it was just voices, because you can't see their faces move.
Right.
And you're hearing their voices like in that kind of Kiefer Sutherland phone booth kind of like it's through earphones.
It actually
kind of
almost would have benefited the movie, and I'm not saying this for diversity reasons, but had you had, I don't know, an Australian one, a Mexican one, an American one, and a French one or something like that, whatever. If you'd had
some accents,
you would have known
who
with the accents. Like if someone was like, "We should not be down here,"
and it could be something like, "I have never been in the ocean before."
Yeah, right.
In France, we fear the ocean, or whatever. I don't know what. Do you know what I mean? Like something.
Already,
give them something.
Already, the line "In France, we fear the ocean" would have already been the best line of dialogue.
You don't have to give them much of a story. One of them who's never like like gone diving before and is a bit frightened.
Yeah, no.
You know, one of whom who like really loves ruins and is a bit like, hey, just chill with the ruins.
Right.
You know, like we've actually got to get out of here. Like something. But instead of like, oh look, some ruins. Oh, awesome. And look over here, more ruins. Oh, awesome. So great. Everything's so great. Oh, look at that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then like sharks. It was like, don't get me wrong. And that's what I mean about if we'd been watching it and they'd been saying like, groovy, man. Look at these groovy statues where we're like, cool, it's like 70s people saying groovy, and that's enough to sustain me for 20 minutes.
And therefore,
then we better get to the show.
But therefore I will excuse it based on that premise, because I agree with you. If we're watching this 50 years in the future, it's not going to bother us as much. No. Well, we'll both be dead.
That is a terrifying thought, but definitely true.
And if there is an afterlife and this is the movie screening, I'm not sure. Because I have to say,
it's like, did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
I feel like the messaging here is unclear.
Because for 90 minutes...
It's not like a terrible enough movie to go, you're in hell. But it's obviously not good enough to be in heaven. So what even is this?
Where am I? I'm in the 47 meters down purgatory.
Yeah.
Uncaged.
There's like 1 billion circles of hell.
Yeah. But no, it's... The thing is...
There's 1 billion screening rooms in purgatory. And you're in 47 meters down. Forever.
Uncaged. And the thing is that for 90 minutes it was successful in having me tense. It's claustrophobic, which I don't like. It's underwater, which nobody needs to go there. Literally nobody needs to go there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
There's nothing down there.
No.
There's nothing down there that we need as humans that we need to know about. Right? Unless it washes up on the shore, we don't need to go on all the way underwater. Because you know what we have? We have boats, mate, and glass bottom boats, and we can look, as I have done, through a glass bottom boat and going, oh look, a fish. Oh, it's pretty, isn't it? Let's go back and have a cocktail. You know what I mean? Like that's why. That's
the life we were built for.
Well, it's
in fact, I'm not even built to get on the boat. Yeah. I'm built to go, I don't actually feel that great. You go on the boat.
I'll have a cocktail.
Stay here.
But it's like what Bill Hicks says about like super hot weather. He's like, I'm a human, I can afford a coat, a scarf, and rosy-cheeked women, right? I'm like that about almost everything. I'm like, it doesn't need to be this, it doesn't need to be that. What it does need to be is a couch, a movie, some popcorn, my lady by my side, maybe you by my side, and some whatever. Like, it doesn't need to be much more than that.
No, I agree with that.
Because we're human and we've evolved to a point where that's fine.
We don't have to do anything anymore.
We'd have to
try.
What is it?
We could just sit and quietly let our lives go by.
Dylan Moran goes...
Barely marking the days with anything of note.
When Dylan Moran goes, he's like, you don't even have a job anymore because it's an app by Thursday. He's like, you had a job and then next Thursday it's an app. But yeah, so the movie successfully kept me tense for 90 minutes.
It's exactly like with Crawl and something else we saw, I can't remember what it was. It's like the more of like slightly silly, fun B movies that we get to see in the cinema, I'm all for it. Low budget B movie in the cinema,
and also
count me in.
Understand that if I am genuinely giving this a positive review.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm giving it a positive review because when you get on a roller coaster, and I know everyone always uses the roller coaster analogy, but it genuinely works. If you get on a roller coaster and then get off that roller coaster having felt nothing, done nothing, and been anywhere, you'd be like, that's a really shitty roller coaster. But if you get on the roller coaster and do a bunch of loop-the-loops and go all the way up and then come all the way down and like whiz a bit and then stop a bit and whiz a bit and stop a bit and then get off the roller coaster with the buzz of adrenaline and the positivity and joy of new life and the future, having combated death momentarily, then it has done its job. And I don't need it to do anything else.
No, I agree. For
the
me,
worst B movie is a boring B movie, and this wasn't boring.
And it made me make the three noises I want to make in a shark movie. It made me go when like the shark scared the crap out of me. It made me go ooh, like when it like grabbed Corbett, like kind of thing, and then it made me laugh, like when it like twisted the bird and like broke her in half, and just like fun, like this is why I'm watching a fun horror movie.
Yeah.
If it does those,
or when
if I
at
make
the
those
end,
3 sounds,
when at the end, like bleeding, exhausted, chewed up, and whatever, the 2 girls are on the boat, like bleeding out of major wounds, and the boat just stays where it is.
stays where it is while people gather around them.
Gather around it.
Which, to be fair, is what would happen. You know what I mean? Like people go, oh, look at that, that's a big one. Oh, that's nasty.
But let's get a picture. So
that looks like a deep one.
Let's get that on Instagram.
Yeah.
That'll get some likes.
No, but that's what people would do.
But as we left the cinema, I was like, I don't know, maybe turn the boat on.
Turn the
Just
boat
an
on,
idea.
Turn the key.
Also,
turn the key and it goes.
get this. They've been 47 metres down uncaged this whole time, fighting sharks and finding Corbett and getting lost and blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, the shark boat has only just got to where the
They haven't even
sharks are.
started looking at the sharks.
Haven't even started looking at it.
That's a long queue.
Is that what it was?
Must have been a long
It was
queue.
a
I
really
did think about
long,
this.
It was
I
a
think
really long queue.
All right, well, I think that'll do us, right?
Yeah, we talked about the movie for 20 minutes.
Half an hour, mate.
Okay, then.
Yeah. I mean, less time than we talked about your dog, but yeah.
I don't like how negative you're being about my dog. And what the
40
point,
minutes, that's
the
all.
point of the story was not my dog.
It was your black heart. No, I get it.
It was that I dislike.
You came to a sudden realization.
I dislike
that you
most
hate the
humans.
world.
I dislike most humans.
Which I think is fine.
The funny thing is I could sit here for 7 days and talk to you without any problem. I would never get tired. I'd never get bored. I never would.
Well, you probably get tired.
Right, but I wouldn't. What I mean is,
over the course of 7 days.
I wouldn't get tired of you being here.
Oh, well, that's very nice.
But if a stranger came and sat down to me and was like,
No, you get very tired.
Did you just sit? It was like when we came out of what was the movie we came out of, and the guy came up to us and was like, it was cool.
Yeah, it was.
And he was cool.
Yeah, it was cool because
And the guy came up and he started to talk to me about Sam Raimi. And don't get me wrong, I love Sam Raimi. I could talk to someone that I genuinely like about Sam Raimi for hours. I have theories, I have opinions, I have whatever.
So I don't have time. It's the thing.
But the guy came up to me.
I don't have the time to skate over shit anymore, man.
Yeah.
I don't have time to discover that you, like most things on earth at the moment, are awful.
Yeah.
Like, can't I just look at you and go, maybe they're okay.
Right.
Maybe they're not a nutter.
Well, but it's not just that, right? The guy coming up to talk to me about Sam Raimi post-Crawl, right, was doing one of 2 things, right? First of all, he wanted to show the world in some way, some small way, that he too knew about Sam Raimi. Like it was a thing that he knew about.
There was a connection.
And I don't, no, but even before the connection, it was, and I don't mean in a braggadocio way, I mean it as a cry for help.
Yeah.
As a burble through the water.
Cri de coeur.
Right. As a gasp above the choppy waters of life, he wanted to say...
Just a beautiful metaphor
to
slide into a podcast about 47 metres down. Just delightful.
He just wanted to release
proves
it.
you were enriched by the movie.
I was. He just wanted to release it. But secondly, and I may be assuming things here, but he had gone through his life up to whatever age he was. And he was older than us, I think.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, probably by not as many years as we would like.
No, true. But probably, and I'm making assumptions here, having difficulty either making friends or making the kind of friends he wish he had.
Yeah.
Right?
It's making me sad now.
No, but this
Can
is
you, like, pull us out of this tailspin of sadness?
Probably not. I like to end on a downer. So, and he saw me and you, we were talking about the movie as we came out, whatever. And you went into the bathroom and I'm stood outside and he was like, those guys know. And I've got nothing left. So I have to, all I can do right now is approach them just on the whim, the off chance, the wisp of a potential
They won't reject me
connection.
as the world has rejected me.
Potential
And
connection.
what did we do?
Right. And that we're terrible people for doing it, but at the same time, and I hate to say this because I suffer from my own like anxieties and neuroses, as everyone does, but if you've got to a certain age and certain things have not clicked into place, I don't know what to tell you. I know that sounds terrible, but you know what I mean. Like,
No, I know what you mean, because sometimes if it had happened a different way, but your nutter radar is not only like highly attuned in you, it's like it's well practiced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's honed, is what it is.
Right.
It's been fucking honed.
Right.
Your nutter radar. And so when somebody comes up to you and starts talking about Sam Raimi, my bet is if it was somebody more like, I don't know, like someone who you've done podcasts with, you could just tell your nutter radar would know.
Yeah.
Actually, they're pretty cool. They're kind of like me. I watch the movie on the road. They know Sam Raimi. And you would probably better. It might not be superficial, but there would be a connection.
No, that's true. I've
But
gone to parties
he was a bit
where
of a nutter.
he was
Because he did the thing where you would go, well, I have to go, and he just didn't listen.
and kept following.
He kept going on and kept following us, and that's the behaviour. So what I'm saying is that initial reaction, that highly tuned and honed
Right.
nutter sense,
Right.
was right.
Right.
And you don't have to feel guilty about that.
No, I won't.
because that is there.
Because here's a
To
New
save
York
your
nutter-
valuable time.
a very quick New York nutter story. But I'm on the subway, right? A seat becomes available, right, in front of me. I look around a little bit and I go to sit down. And as I go to sit down, like I bump into something. So I sit down, I look up, and I notice that I bumped into a guy. And I said to him, "Oh, I'm really sorry. Were you going for the seat? You can sit down if you want." He was like, No, it's fine, man. You have the seat." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" He was like, "Please take the seat." So I'm like, "Good. I've done the seat conversation." So I'm sat down. He's standing up holding a bar. He then immediately enters into, "Do you know all about the witches in South Africa?" He was like, "The reason why Africa will never be a superpower is because it's full of witches." That's not even a lie. That's what he said.
What does the guy look like?
He was a middle-aged African-American guy dressed pretty decently. I mean, t-shirt and jeans, but like not like hobo grubby.
Right.
Like very normal looking guy. He was perfectly pleasant about the seat and everything. So I sat down and I go back to playing my game on my phone. And he's like, "You know why Africa will never be a superpower?" And I was like, "That's
I
so
kind
weird."
of want to hear the answer to that.
And he goes, "Because it's full of witches." And I was like,
Again, I have follow-up questions, but do I want to ask them?
I was like, "Witches, eh?" Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
No, we're good. We're good to go.
Well,
Thank you.
do you remember?
Yeah. So when you live in a city where
Witches, eh? Like, it's
where-
like the weather, right?
yeah.
Where
Where that-
like bloody witches.
where literally your next thought is, "I hope he gets off at the next station," or that I do. Otherwise, I'm trapped in this.
Or a witch gets on. Because,
Right. Or he accuses.
yeah, like a goth chick. Do you know what I mean? Like, gets on
Yeah.
in, like, you know what I mean? Like, white makeup and, like, black. Go, well, there you go, mate. There they are. Oh.
Witches, eh? So yeah, you hope that doesn't happen. But you live in a city where you're on the precipice of having
those kind of conversations.
Of having those kind of mad conversations.
Because it's like, and how long before I become a witch? Do you know what I mean? In your eyes.
Yeah.
How carefully do I have to play this interaction?
Because if I say something and he thinks I'm a warlock, I might get stabbed through the thorax with a sharp, pointy stick he's got in his backpack.
You gotta be like, don't deny the existence to me. Are you one?
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's why you probably go, yeah, witches, eh? Yeah, fucking witches.
Yeah. Well, I hope they sort that problem out. I've never been, but when I go, I'll take
There's a lot of problems in the world, and that is definitely one of them.
Yeah. It's got nothing to do with warlords or faulty infrastructure or the
No, witches, mate.
fact that you can't irrigate the desert. But no, it's,
Yeah, you don't want to get into an argument with the bloke who says things like,
yeah. Well, they'll never crawl themselves out of their problems with all those witches bumping around. So when a guy comes up to you after a movie and starts talking at you about Sam Raimi,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it doesn't make you a bad person. And equally, that's why they're doing
they're making a milkshake. I mean, all of a sudden it became the Muppet Show in the background. All of a sudden it's like bang, 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 whisk, whisk, whisk. It just became a noise.
This is why you're not a bad person for the people coming up to your dog, patting your dog either, because if they had been engaging with you and being genuine, then you would have responded to that, and you might have been a bit grumpy.
No, I wouldn't, because they were engaging with. This is why I brought it up.
Oh,
they were engaging with me.
I see.
They were engaging with me.
No, you're right. You are the worst.
But I looked at them and I was like, I've got your number. You live in a shiny apartment that has never seen a fleck of dust. You both make more money than I've ever seen in my life. Your husband there apparently can fit into like skinny jeans and is perfectly comfortable with them. And everything about you is shiny and
Can I
all.
ask you a question? Because it's kind of on the subject. Like, there's two normal people looking at a menu.
Yes.
And we're inside going,
Yeah.
how like grumpy old New York men do you think we
How
look to them?
normal are they
Do you
though?
know what I mean? I think they're pretty normal.
Are
For
they?
some reason, there's a fashion now where all blokes
Yeah.
have to wear like brightly coloured patterned Hawaiian shirts.
I'm not. I'm wearing.
No, but like him, like what he's wearing. Everybody at my work between the ages of 25 and 35 is wearing a shirt like that.
That sounds awful.
No, but just, you know, there's that thing that used to happen. You know, that used to happen in London, where you realised that overnight,
Just right down the middle, please.
yeah, overnight, like women just started wearing like a particular kind of boot or like a type of coat or whatever. It'd be like
Yeah.
a switch was flicked somewhere.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, did I miss the? You know, well, obviously I missed it because the man wasn't addressed to me. But in this case,
we missed the coat.
but this
detail.
case, I see it with blokes now, where
Right.
it's like, wait, what was the memo about we all have to wear like brightly coloured Hawaiian shirts or something? I'm doing it wrong, it's not like the worst thing ever. It's just weird that we've all decided to do that at once, like en masse.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I still dress like the member of a little, you know, a rightly forgotten Britpop band.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the, I don't know, the...
You dress like the slightly ill bassist in a Supergrass cover band.
The one who, when they like...
I tried
do
to think. I went down like I was like Oasis, Blur, Pulp, Supergrass. Supergrass is.
I could have been in
probably the level.
Supergrass, for all anybody knows.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I thought. Like, thank you. I thought when I first came to America that I would be very like windswept and interesting, and claim that I was in like a British rock band that no one over here would have heard of, and like that I was, and I thought that was going to be my story. Like if anyone ever came up to me and was like blah blah blah, but like I was in a British rock band, leave me alone. Instead, I've never pulled that out and used it, but I should.
Yeah, I think you still could.
I don't know.
Well, you could just go with I'm world famous podcaster Jon Cross.
Yeah, I
You've
don't
heard
know.
of the After Movie Diner,
I
right?
don't know how much that is going to hold any weight ever.
You've got a good signature.
My signature? My signature is literally my attempt. What I wanted to do.
Yeah, but I just write my name out like I'm 8. It's a terrible, terrible signature. See, I just write my fucking name out. It's so lame.
No, but you've done that thing that signatures do. You've become so used to doing it that it's just become squiggles.
It has, but then also that is also my handwriting. My handwriting is just squiggles.
Right. But how is mine is interesting?
It's got style and flair. Like when you're doing it, like signature, you know what I mean? It's like mine, like.
But what's funny is when
It takes me like half an hour to do my signature. And I'm like, signature. Like it's probably like the mime my dad used to do at waiters to say, I'd like to pay the check. That's your signature.
that's my signature.
I mean, it's classic.
But do you know where mine came from? So, in the Blues Brothers, when they asked.
Sorry.
Jesus. When they asked Jake Blues to sign his name on the prison thing, he signs a big X, right?
Yeah.
So for the longest time, I was like, how do I get to do just that?
Right.
Because you can't just sign X.
You can't.
And then I realized that my last name being Cross, I could kind of do like a cross, like an X kind of thing.
Right.
And then it was initially, I would actually write out like Jonathan and then do the X.
Right.
And then it became John, but the John was like legible, and then I did the X. And now it's sort of become a big J, squiggle, and then a big X. So that's what it is. It's J and X.
I like that. That's cool. That's a good story. Man.
So-
not all your stories are, but that was a good one.
By the time I'm 50, it'll just be an X.
Yeah.
It will have whittled itself down to just be
And you
like...
will finally be Jake Blues.
Yeah, I don't have that ambition anymore. When I was 15, that was my ambition.
You know
and
better
then
than that.
And then I realised that, like, I don't know, fat comedian millionaires trying to be black bluesmen was probably not a great idea.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know what I mean? And the fact that Dan Aykroyd and James Belushi still trotted out on occasions is a little questionable.
Yeah.
Have you seen, like, I don't know if you ever looked at it, but, like, they still post videos on their social or on YouTube of, we opened a House of Blues in Des Moines, and here, Jim Belushi and Dan Aykroyd show up to sweat on the front rows while they, like, blow into a harmonica. It's, like, unpleasant. It's literally like watching 2 heart attacks happening
In slow motion.
with some harmonica. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, no, not for me then. Shall we head off?
I enjoyed that episode.
It was
lot.
good, yeah.
I enjoy episodes where we don't talk much about the movie and we just have fun.
Yeah, but I enjoy when we I like when we like the movie too. Well, we like that movie.
We did.